Trever, Aeon. I'm gonna break my foot off in your ass.
Hello all. Last session, Trever faced down Kaga in the Emerald Grove, and then went to settle a personal score with Auntie Ethel. Successful in both of these endeavors, he will make his way into Goblin territory next, bolstered with confidence. But first, a recap on our activity. After killing Kaga in the Emerald Grove, we finally made good on Mole's request to steal the idol. Trever is not typically a thief, but he did it for a similar reason that Mole wanted it done for, in retribution for their willingness to kill one of the tiefling children. Auntie Ethel was indeed lying about not having seen the girl named Mayrina. While Trever was not particularly interested in the girl's fate, he was interested in picking a fight with the hag. So he poked around her house until he found a hidden entrance, which did indeed piss her off. He then followed her into the heart of her lair, fighting her until she surrendered. She proffered a deal, power in exchange for allowing her to leave with the girl. In order to humiliate her, we demanded both, and were gifted a lock of her hair that increased Trevor's strength, and she left empty-handed. We even went on to find the wand that would bring Mayrina's husband back from the dead. But of course, it reanimated him as a zombie rather than resurrecting him for real. Just like a hag to twist a deal. Still, Mayrina said she wanted to try to fix him, and it's her husband, so we honored her choice and gave her the wand to control the zombie. Gale's condition flared up again, but this time the magical artifact we sacrificed to him did not ease his suffering. He finally came clean that he has a powerful netherese orb contained within his chest that could destabilize with dire consequences. He offered to leave us and find a place to allow it to consume him, but we told him to stay with us. We will find another way. Meanwhile, Astarion disclosed that he was the slave of a vampire lord named Cazador. He was killed long ago and then saved by Cazador, only to become a thrall unable to resist the vampire lord's commands. He fears he may still be under Cazador's control, and he does not know how to avoid this fate if he is ever found. Now that Trever knows Shadowheart worships the dark goddess Shar, she has been more open about herself and her faith. She told him that she allowed her memory to be nearly fully erased so that she might protect Shar's secrets until she completes the mission of bringing the artifact back to Baldur's Gate. She also suspects that the mysterious wound on her hand has been inflicted upon her by Shar. She thinks it may be some manner of guidance, but she's not certain. Trevor's party confronted Kaga in the Emerald Grove about her joining forces with the Shadow Druids. As we hoped, this split the Druids' loyalties and allowed us the justification we needed to kill her for our own motivations. We brought news to Zevlor, and while he was grateful for the result, he has asked Trever to now handle the Goblin threat. Trever is about to head that way, but he has yet to decide exactly what he will do about the Goblins. After all, he remembers that Saza seems to think one of them can help cure the tadpole, and has offered us safe passage. And this entry is about Auntie Ethel's result as it pertains to attempting to find a cure. She did offer help, but Trever was too stubborn to even consider it, and now she's been driven off. She will no longer help the party with the tadpole. Finally, I wanted to touch base about the hag's hair we got. This item is definitely missable if the dice are not with you, and Trever took strength, which means even before attaining a feat, he's gone up to an 18, so he's got an extra +1 to attack and damage above what he was. Aside from just being better in combat, this means he can now bust open chests or other objects that are sturdy with just his bare fists if they are vulnerable to bludgeoning, which many are. So that's pretty fun. Alright, now that we're all caught up, I will rejoin you as we approach the spot where we last noticed the goblins were attempting an ambush. Alright, so, fresh off his victories against the Gith Patrol, Kaga, and Auntie Ethel, Trever is definitely feeling a little cocky. What are some goblins gonna do to him now? He's decided not to bother looking for a way in to circumvent the goblin ambush anymore, but he should still take some precautions. Trever approaches alone and stops at the entrance to make sure the goblins he saw are still there. After all, it has been a couple of days. And also to see if there are any other obvious elements to the setup. Yep, got the goblins on the right. And on the left. And he notices there's a couple of fire wine barrels around. Trever decides to leave the party back a bit in case it goes badly, and boldly approaches the goblin ambush with the intent of intimidating them down. To which end he precasts Thaumaturgy on himself.
Get over there! Surround him like!
Oh, yeah, Trever knows you're there. Show yourselves.
You spotted us. Good. It's like they say. No fun in skewing a pig what doesn't know he's cooked.
Trevor's goal is to cow the goblins, not just slaughter them. He demands to be allowed to pass.
We got you surrounded. Here's how this goes. You take one step further, and we'll fill your front with arrows. Or you turn around, and your backside gets the same treatment.
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
This is what we came for, barbarian intimidation. Let Trever pass!
Hold up, lads. This one might be more than we bargained for. Go on, then. Just keep your nose clean.
Having successfully shown himself to be dominant, Trever calls the rest of the party up.
The whole village is falling to pieces. These goblins aren't exactly house-proud as occupiers go.
Wouldn't blame the gobs. Place looks like it's been abandoned a good while. But hey, maybe we can scare up a few dusty bottles of wine somewheres.
I like your way of thinking. Split any takings we find?
Sister, you've got a deal.
Very well.
You see anything shiny? It's ours.
At this point, Trever has had some time to think about the situation as a whole. Thus far, he's been in a struggle for survival, but now he's beginning to feel more like himself after the tadpole has weakened him. And he realizes, especially with weaker foes like the goblins, he does not need to necessarily kill them all if it comes to a fight. In fact, it's probably better if some survive, so they can spread word of his strength and sow fear amongst the others. For that reason, he's decided that from now on, he'll mostly be fighting with non-lethal strikes, though he won't lose sleep over enemies that die to spells or arrows. There's a bugbear over there, pretty obviously sleeping off a few drinks. As long as it stays asleep, Trever largely doesn't care.
Weapon blueprints. A master blacksmith's work.
More like sketches than anything. Suppose he was still in the drafting stage.
succession of quick bangs rattle the door. Then a low moan. Someone or something is having a bit of fun.
Trever is too amused not to open that door.
Leave it. Whoever's inside doesn't want an audience, and I don't want to fight.
Oh, he's doing it.
What the hell are you doing?
Barbarians and bards both get special dialogue options here, but the intimidation one is so funny to me. Trever is laughing at your puny rutting.
Puny? I am strong. I am virile. I am
Enough! Oh, a moment ruined. Passion squished like slow goats underfoot. Oh, we leave.
Feast fit for an ogre. You notice a peculiar dagger protruding from the tough, leathery meat.
Of course, Trevor's first instinct is to just use strength to pull it out, but there's no harm in taking a moment to investigate first.
You notice the blade is at an angle to the meat's grain. If you align the dagger with the grain, it should slip out easily.
And maybe that'll make it easy. He aligns the dagger with the grain.
Thanks to your keen eye, the dagger glides smoothly out of the mystery meat.
A +1 dagger isn't the most interesting loot, but Shadowheart has been using just a regular old dagger, so this definitely is an upgrade.
Mystery meat, tough as boar hide. Only the sharpest teeth could pierce it.
Still alive, so that's progress. That's curious.
We can see across this broken bridge here to the Risen Road, where we've already been. And here we have a vantage point where we can just barely see a structure that we think is probably the temple we heard about in the area.
after my own heart.
Or maybe a bit of a drinking problem.
There's a commotion over there, and Trever would like to get a better view before he checks it out on the ground. So he climbs up onto the roof over here, with some difficulty controlling the camera because it kept wanting to disappear the roof and show the building interior. Looks like a number of goblins. Trever wants to surprise them by landing in their midst for a dramatic entrance.
No hesitation.
But it turns out he can't jump quite that far.
Look what we got here. Another little birdie wanting to fly. Stop this thing! Flap those wings some more, and I'll feed you a worm. And you. Hope you got a stomach for heights.
Since Trevor's main goal here is placing himself above them in the pecking order, he's going to demand to know what they're doing.
What's it bloody look like? We're teaching this here pipsqueak to fly.
Now he's going to demand clarification here as a way of letting them know that their first attempt wasn't good enough.
'Cause it makes me laugh.
And here he makes an action demand of them, something he can then enforce. The most obvious action to pick is letting the gnome go.
You want this little cave lurking what's it? Find your own. He's ours!
As the symbol glows, power courses through you. Authority.
Which gives him the opportunity to exercise his intimidating presence. Your skull will make a fine chalice then, once he plugs those eye sockets. In this case, no roll is even needed.
No, you wouldn't be able. You're just,
The goblin's nostrils flare, as if trying to judge you through smell alone.
We're leaving.
What about the gnome? Ain't we supposed to bring him to...
I said we're leaving! There's plenty of sport and rich pickings out there for us. Move it! Fresh meats. Scared meats. Yes.
But now Trever realizes he's put himself into a situation and made himself responsible for the gnome tied to the windmill, one way or the other. Sigh. He looks around for some way to stop the windmill.
Shadowheart's attention is fixed on a damaged old statue.
We should keep moving.
Trevor's not one to just let that go. What just happened?
I don't know exactly. Lady Shah, protect me.
I think we're seeing this dialogue out of the expected order because Shadowheart has already talked about her hand wound to us. Still, Trever presses a little.
It felt oddly familiar, but I don't know why. I saw something that reminded me of my faith, my mission. I felt something rise within me like my blood was on fire. Then it passed. That's all I know. It's stopped now, whatever it is. Let's just carry on.
There are a couple of levers here. Trever wants to make sure to pull the right one. The random gnome hasn't done anything to earn more trouble.
Cut me loose!
Still, maybe Trever can find an advantage here. What's in it for him?
Free me and find out!
Okay, Trever frees the gnome.
Ugh. Bagakabara. Those pustulant thugs! Well, get on with it.
Trever feels like he deserves a little compensation.
As expected. Coercion by the book. Take my pack, if you can find it. The only reason those goblins caught me was its weight. I'll travel lightly from now on.
He wonders aloud what a deep gnome is doing above ground like this.
Ignorance is alive and well, it seems. Deep gnomes aren't restricted to the Underdark, you know. I've lived in Baldur's Gate for years. I'm in search of a friend. I fear he's in trouble. See this? I gave it to him years ago before I left home. I found it around the neck of a thug in the lower city. It was speckled with blood. My friend, nowhere to be found. But I still have hope. I have reason to believe he's in the Underdark. Hopefully, I'll pick up his trail from there.
I always help my friends. On that note, I bid thee farewell. If we should meet again, well, we will have met again.
The gnome has marked on our map where his pack was dropped. Smoke powder satchels, as opposed to smoke powder bombs, are rare items in Baldur's Gate 3. No merchants carry them, and you can't make them. One interesting thing about them is that they create a permanent fire surface. That can come in handy, but you should be very judicious about where you use them. The Speedy Light Feet is a set of boots that generates 3 lightning charges when the user dashes or takes a similar action in combat. This could be useful for some builds, but keep in mind it is medium armor. For that reason, I'm not going to be giving it to Trever. Out of the rest of us, Karlach is the one I think most likely to need to dash to get to the enemy, so I'll give it to her.
shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. Here we go.
Whoops! The marker for Barkis's pack is still on the map because we didn't actually pick up the pack itself. I'll do that real quick, then I'll rejoin you.
No traps, please.
This moss-covered chest is sturdy, but vulnerable to bludgeoning, meaning Trever can break it apart bare-handed now. But the attack action on the list is still red, so to avoid goblin attention, we'll just pick it up and move it over to the now cleared Windmill area. The Haste Helm grants the wearer 3 turns of momentum at the start of combat. This is a very good boost to your movement and really allows you to better position yourself for the fight. Once again, Karlach is the one who most wants to be right up in the middle of the enemy, so this too will go to her.
Hello?
What to do? What's hiding here? At the ready. Let's see what this does.
This journal tucked in the corner mentions blueprints for a masterwork weapon. That does catch our attention.
Moonwitch rubbish. How much time did some dim-witted artisan waste on that?
I'll take that. Something's on my mind.
If you want to keep your insides on the inside, don't cause any trouble.
open up? It says there's a cellar here somewhere.
I don't see one.
How'd you know?
I just do. And the others. Keep your paws to yourself, and I won't cut them off.
Everything here is ours. Bugger off.
Gotta be something in this heap.
Go on. More of us inside.
Eh? Well, I'm busy. Watching, like.
And you got nothing to show for it but your own arse.
Trever notices a trio of ogres. He doesn't mind the challenge, but these do deserve a little more forethought than the goblins around here. Ah, a ladder up to the roof. Exactly what he was hoping to find.
Missing children. Maggie Terrans, Marcus Terrans, Mathan Deach, Rochelle Kirk.
My faith will guide me.
Shadowheart and Lae'zel can go up to the roof and oversee the situation from there.
Onward in her name. Indolence breeds madness. Objective noted. My faith protects me. Got to press on.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Trever and Karlach will approach the ogres directly. Trever is strong enough to throw this heavy boulder. That could be useful, so he rolls it alongside him.
Tastes like chicken. No chicken. Tastes like fish. Gentlemen, contain yourselves. This quarrel sours our feast. Besides, tastes like pork. And what surprise is this? Brothers, look here. I have eyed yet another prize. Fortune favors our bellies. Stranger, Be you friend or food, the mark is her measure. Show is the brand of the absolute.
Now, I would love to end up fighting these ogres, because Lump has a headband that would work out very well for Shadowheart and her single wizard level. However, Trever has no way of knowing about that item, so we will just see what happens. He is given Barbarian Intimidation option though, so we're definitely using that. I mean, he's feeling quite hungry himself.
Food? No one has food today, alas. It seems we are friends. Friend.
These are the first ogres Trever has seen in the area.
We follow the sense of blood and gold to all lands fertile, friend. And this land proves particularly fruitful.
And what about them? They have no brand.
I've no use for the absolute, or any god. I follow two masters only, gluttony and greed. The goblins understand my appetites. They sate my hunger for gold, and the rest sate my hunger for meat. Boss goblin give gold. We check brand. Good deal. No talk.
Trever does notice that Lump is quite articulate for an ogre.
Am I not astonishing? A robust diet makes for a shrewd mind, you see. I am a gourmand. And you, a delicacy. Unless you bear the mark, of course.
Trever recognizes the potential of having these mercenaries on his side. They should fight for him.
I am, by all accounts, a student of higher commerce and extortion. Make me an offer. Tempt me.
They don't seem to understand. Trever isn't paying. He's offering to allow them to live.
Come now. Famished though we are friends, are we not? Take my bone horn. One blow and the ground will quake with my family name. Use it when the need arises, and never a moment before. Ogre kill everyone around, then Ogre eats them. Well spoken, indeed. Ogre kill everyone around. We will keep close. When you are ready, sound the horn.
Trever is surprised that worked. Well, maybe he can find a use for the meat shields later.
Always room for more. Something over there. If not over, then through.
And here Trevor can see out over the swamp, the one that is now -1 hag.
Something over there.
Someone's diary. Might explain what happened here.
Missing children. Maggie Terrans, Marcus Terrans, Mathan Deach, Rochelle Kirk.
Haven't seen that game in years.
swift and lethal.
My little trick.
Come on, can't stay idle.
Need to stay focused. Have to keep going.
Nothing will stand in my way.
Fuck yes.
I am fury. I am death.
Time to deal some punishment.
This is gonna feel good.
Still on my feet. I won't give in.
Victory awaits.
Can't give up.
Looking ahead. Can't slow down. Don't mind if I do. Time for some bloody work. And these things have stayed interesting. Let's move. All right, what now?
This mirror is medium toughness and does not have any vulnerabilities, so Trever won't be able to just outright break it.
Speak your name.
Oh, a magic mirror, just like in fairy tales. Trevor's feeling a bit mischievous, so he gives a little rhyme. Magic mirror, tell me true.
What is your name?
Show my fortune known by few.
The mirror is not amused.
Next time's the charm? What path lies before?
Get back!
So if you activate this trap, you have to be careful because it does go surprisingly far down the entry path. In our case, Trever calls a retreat nearly to the basement. And now we just need to wait for the fire to burn itself out.
You are not my master. If you are his ally, step forward and declare it.
Trever was in a decent mood. Now he picks up a rock and smashes the mirror.
Well-guarded laboratory. What were they hiding down here? Bet that will fit in my pack.
Interesting. Looks like this basilisk oil could fix a petrified creature, like that dwarf back in Auntie Ethel's playhouse. Or we could keep it for ourselves in case something similar happens to one of us. Let's do that. The bracers of defense give you +2 AC, but only operate if you're not wearing armor or a shield. 3/4 of our party is in medium armor already, and the one who isn't is still using a shield. So this doesn't help any of us.
Looks like a trap there.
Since none of us have trap disarming skills, Trever will send the others what he assumes is a safe distance away. And then jump over the plate. The rusted key opens the grate, and clearly there are no more traps. So Trever just grabs the book. There were no traps, except that one directly guarding the book that we missed. Now, isn't this interesting? The creepy book is immune to nearly everything. Everything but radiant damage, which it's vulnerable to. Something to keep in mind.
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole. Only an oval recess in the cover's mouth. You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in.
A cursed book. How obvious. Whoever opens it deserves the fate that befalls them.
Curious. Why don't you take a closer look? I'll observe from back here.
Please don't open the creepy book.
Trever listens to his teammates and drops the book.
better the second the book is out of your hands. The voices return, louder, stronger, commanding you to stop. But they have no hold on you. All you have to do is strike.
Yep, can't just punch it. Shadowheart, you're up. That was a mystifying move for the Shadow to make, and I mourn the loss of XP, but there's not really much we can do about it.
Let's finish this.
Time to strike.
Smell blood.
I am fury. I am death.
Nothing important is ever easy. Let's get this over with.
Gods, it's hot in here.
Swift and lethal.
All right, Karlak, it's go time.
Ready.
Is that blood? No, never mind.
Well, that's that. Let's get out of here.
use.
Trap. Be cautious.
Well, we know the drill here. Be cautious means have everyone else back up and then break it.
Blackest will be done. One true way.
No one's stopped me yet. Best be on my way.
The actual schematics for the masterwork weapon. With this, we could potentially craft one ourselves, if we can find this Susur bark.
Weapon blueprints. They call for Susa bark. If only I knew where to find some.
More infernal iron is good news for Karlach.
Yes! Damon can use this to fix me.
And this steel-forged sword is essentially a +1 short sword. We'll go ahead and send that to Astarion, I suppose.
More for me. Something good here, I hope. Better take a closer look.
This weakened wall leads to a whole other cavern complex, it looks like.
Rested enough. Now, forward.
Agreed, Lae'zel. After our short rest and my off-screen looting, we'll be back next time to go through here and see what awaits. It's worth mentioning that up on this ledge there is a smoke powder barrel, so we go ahead and take that and make it one of the 2 barrels that we carry with us. Also, during the step in which Shadowheart learns from the random scrolls we've picked up, she notices there's one scroll that wasn't on the list directly from her spellbook, the Scroll of Summon Quasit. She was able to learn it from the scroll manually, but that is odd enough that it warrants some attention. So the next time we're here, we will investigate that before we head into the unknown caverns. Have a good one.